So Reese, congratulations, man.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, how exciting! Pretty exciting, huh?
Yeah, it was. To be honest, it sort of came out of the blue, really. I wasn't expecting it until Matt sent me a message one night. He was like, "You won this month's breakdown." I was like,
That's awesome.
"That's
Well,
pretty cool."
I have a feeling that I mean, being a sort of a writer myself, not really, but it's like you write a lot, and you send it to your friends and to certain people, and it's like very rarely does it actually get read, and it's like, wait a second, man, I thought we were friends. Can you read this, or are you not? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
first of all, congratulations on writing something that got read, and second of all, congratulations on writing something that spoke to a lot of people and gave you the opportunity to get your film made. And I mean, I think you did something pretty cool. So congratulations, man.
Thank you very much. It's very
Yeah.
kind.
So tell me tell me about this story. So what is it to you? Do you write a lot? Is this something that is this a feature that you want to? Is this just a short that you want to turn into a feature? What is this?
So this is a proof of concept for a 1-hour television drama series.
Okay.
I'm sort of currently in the midst of developing, but I've been distracted with a UK half-an-hour comedy series the last few months over lockdown. So I think
How so? How are you distracted by that? You're working on that?
I've put like a lot of time into it, and just sort of like knocked out a load of episodes just because I was really sort of dragged in by the story I was creating. I thought I have to just get as much down as I can before the episode slips away. So I think winning this month was again more of a shock because I'd sort of put this script on the back burner a little bit.
Right.
Seems to be.
I think one of the main reasons why you won is because you write so clearly and you're able to paint a picture really, really well. I mean, from the beginning, the way that you describe the bar, you put it in San Francisco, like immediately, like whoever reads it is like, oh, okay, I know that bar. Oh, okay, I know what that looks like. Oh, yeah, two women, kind of like you paint a really, really good picture with your words, which is great. And especially when you're writing a proof of concept or even a short film that's 5, 6, 8, 9 pages, like you got to be able to grab your audience quickly. Yeah. And I think you did that, and it's it made me kind of want more. I mean, it's a great setting. It's a really descriptive environment. I'm so curious if you have a pitch. I'm curious if you have a log line. I'm curious if you have a feature, or not a feature. I'm curious if you have like an outline of the first 10 episodes, or if you have an idea of where you want the first 100 episodes to go, because ideally what you want, especially if you're creating TV, the people writing the checks, the people that you want to get to say yes, they want to know that this will go for 5 seasons and possibly a movie. Yeah. So in the writing, again, I think you accomplished the first challenge, and that's, when you have your reader interested. And the thing is, I'm interested. I mean, I read through, was it 6 pages? I read through 6 pages so fast. I like the subtlety and how the women were communicating. I like as an actor, sometimes in the parentheses underneath their name, whenever the writer gives a note, like, says loudly, or like says with contempt, or like, sometimes I'm like, wait, man, don't tell me how to act. Like, I'm the actor, I'll be able to do it. But it was so, even in the description on how you do that, it was so subtle, and it gives the actors freedom to interpret that, how the writer, how you kind of see the story being told. I have no idea what ends up happening, and I want to know what ends up happening. I'm curious at the beginning when, which is now, I'm assuming present day. It's 10 years from when you flash back. Were they, obviously they're still friends and there's something to be said. I'm assuming, I don't know, somebody died, somebody had a relationship with one. Again, you did your job in making the audience curious. So, and like I said, being able to do that in such a concise structure or format, it's good. So I'm more curious in the bigger story you want to tell.
Yeah, it's a very sort of convoluted story. I mean, I had to sort of be really sort of picky as to what I would use as the proof of concept, because the series basically tells the story of 4 different people who are all connected to this one event. And the proof of concept that you've read, I found to sort of be the most enticing and striking moment within the pilot that would probably sort of leave people wanting to read more. Because it's a bit
Have
of
you read the entire pilot?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
So for me, it was like, that's the scene that I think would stand out and resonate and connect with readers the most. And it clearly has done that in some capacity, which I'm really happy with, because there is a much broader picture to the story. So to hear you say that you want to know more about it is really pleasing for me.
That's great. That's great. So when you put together a proof of concept, what do you see? What do you think would be the most, well, because the thing is, when I see this, I'm like, oh yeah, we can shoot this really easy. Like, this is just an easy thing to shoot. But it's as a proof of concept, I really feel like there needs to be a moment that really grabs me, and I'm not sure what that moment is and what I read. I'm curious if you have one in mind.
I think from this particular proof of concept, the thing I wanted to sort of stand out the most was the transition in the time. So the sort of the 10 years prior and the present day thing, but also the way that the setting is shown and the way that the women are dressed as well, because, you know, I wanted to just show a complete contrast so that when the reader reads it and when the viewer possibly sees it, they can see that there is something has happened, but I'm not quite sure what, but I'm intrigued as to know what's happened, because suddenly I've seen the same setting, but there is a massive shift in mood, in color, in atmosphere, the lot. So that's sort of what I wanted to put across, but I think I could probably put it across clearer. But the restriction to sort of 5-6 pages leaves you sometimes with, you know, with not much, you know, room to sort of work about.
Sure. So what's the stark contrast in their wardrobe? Because I'm not sure. Maybe I missed that.
I can't remember whether I noted it, but I think I said that, or mentioned rather, that they were wearing darker clothes in the present day.
Yeah, in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it when it goes back to 10 years prior, that I think Maria, who is the main character, her hair was a little bit longer and she had more of like a bubbly sort of feel about her. She was dressed a bit more loose and a bit more, you know, formal and stuff like that. And that's what I wanted to sort of put across. But I think it probably could be.
Do you want people to either think or be certain of the idea that somebody has died? Is that why they're in black? They've come from a funeral?
Not that they've come from a funeral, but I think, you know, just the way that a death.
I guess I'm curious. What do you want people to know, and what do you not want people to know? You know what I mean? Because I want to be able to facilitate. Oh wait, I don't want people to know that yet.
Yeah,
you know what
I guess I want people to know. So Maria is basically, she's the main character within this concept. I want people to know that within that shift between the 10 years that we see very quickly, that it is noticeable that she's carrying a burden of some sort, and that there is something missing. And I think the introduction of Martin, which could be perceived as quite abrupt, I want that to basically stand out to the viewer and say, well, clearly this character has got a lot to play within, you know, within the role of the scene and in the wider picture. But why does he suddenly sort of get introduced 10 years prior and then he's not there in the present day? And why is there such a contrast in how they dress, what the atmosphere is? You know, that's sort of what I want to put across.
Okay, great. Well, man, I think you got something. I think it's something that is appealing and will, you know, make people ask more questions and good questions. Because I mean, if people are asking questions about your writing, that's not necessarily what you want. If people are asking questions about the story and like, how do I get more? That's obviously kind of where you want to go with this thing. Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm really. Are you letting people read the pilot episode? Are you letting people read the script, or?
So I've just sort of like polished the pilot up as like a sort of a draft that would go out to people to read. So I'm now starting to let people read. Are
you currently employed on a show?
No, I'm not now.
Oh, okay. So this show that you're writing, you're just going to write all the episodes?
Yeah, probably.
Is that how it works over there?
It's how I do things.
Oh, wow. Wow,
it's I think for me, once I get hold of a story, I just want to tell it, you know.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
for my
And why TV and not film?
well, I mean, I sort of I spent a lot of time writing feature scripts, and then I suddenly decided I wanted to experiment with something different, and I've sort of found my niche, I guess, with television these last few months.
Huh?
I'm really enjoying it, and it's something at the moment that I'm sort of really engaged in, and I'm developing a couple of things with some writing partners and stuff like that. So
That's
that are all
great.
based. So I find it really exciting.
That's great. That's great. Well, man, I think you've done a good job, and I think you and especially with you having already the pilot and the idea of I wouldn't suggest writing 10 other episodes or 8 episodes or whatever. I would suggest honing in on the story
Yeah.
that you want to tell on the first season,
Yeah.
what you want to tell people the first 10 episodes, what you want to tell people by episode 30, and what you want to tell people by episode 90.
Yeah.
Did you go to screenwriting school? Like, are you kind of familiar with kind of the process of doing this, or?
Yeah, I mean, all through, I'm all self-taught, so I've sort of picked up just through sort of, you know,
That's great.
being proactive myself and
That's
navigating
great.
my way through it.
That's great.
This is
Well, man, it's a treat. Like, as an actor, I get sent a lot of bad scripts, and it's it does two things to me. It pisses me off because I'm like, how in the world is this script being sent to me, and how did they get $20 million to make this movie? And then it's also in a way encouraging because it's like there's something about that script that turned a lot of people on.
Yeah.
Like there's something there. Somebody's writing a check for this.
Yeah.
And it's like, as bad as I think some of my writing is, I think I can do better than that. And I'm not pointing to your script. I'm pointing to a fictitious script I've read. So it's like, it's encouraging to me because it's like, man, I can do this. I can do this, and I can get my stuff made. So my very first, I don't know if you know anything about me, but my very first movie we made for $7,000 and it won Sundance. And so it was like, oh yeah, this little thing that we've kind of created out of nothing is now on a global scale, and people all over the world are seeing it. And now we have opportunities to do other things. So yeah, I've been encouraged from the beginning to kind of just keep going and keep, just creating stuff that I like. Yeah. And if you like it, why wouldn't somebody else like it? So congratulations, man. I think you got something cool here, and I think it could be something that can get, that we can kind of move on with. I think it's really interesting here.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean,
yeah.
I think that's, all I ever want to do is tell stories, I think, in a way that people can really sort of visualize and connect to. I'm not the sort of writer that goes about sort of creating grand designs in a script. I just want people to connect with the characters, and, characters and dialogue are extremely important to me, because I think that they ultimately, for me anyway, they drive the story. I like writing character driven stories because I think that, in a world that we live in, which is, so diverse, I think it's so important that, people find characters that they can really connect to and resonate with their stories. And that's all I ever try to do in my writing. I try to make it as simple as possible. I never try to overcomplicate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I do, I'm going wrong somewhere because it's just not my style.
Right. Well, it's good that you have that awareness, because again, a lot of writers don't. A lot of writers are like, no, I'm just going to crank out pages. And it's like, but wait, if you're cranking out pages, that's to crank out pages, you're really kind of getting away from the story that you're trying to tell.
Exactly.
So I'm glad at your core, like the most important thing is character and story, because that's what's most important to me as well. And I think to the majority of the actors, like, you could do cheesy movies that, have huge budgets and makes lots of money, but that's not as fulfilling as a good character piece.
Exactly.
And as a good, well thought out, tight, succinct story, beginning, middle, and end. So yeah, I'm excited to see what else you got coming down.
Yeah, I mean,
do you have anything for me? You got any questions or any comments? Or,
I mean, well, personally, when you read my proof of concept, as an actor, did you feel like, the characters were sort of, they stood out on the page to you, and that you could sort of.
Well, see, I'm curious because I don't know how many writers we have on staff or how many actors we have on staff, but to me, it's like, oh, he's leaving a lot of room for the actors to really find this point of view and to really find their way in. And a lot of times, like we said earlier, things can be overwritten. And so the fact that like me as an actor sees it and it's like, oh yeah, this can be good for these ladies. Like this guy, I'm already starting to think of like what kind of, who would be cast well in this, and how you kind of left that, I don't even think you mentioned age. I don't think you mentioned ethnicity, which is great. Like you're able to allow the reader to kind of project their own stories onto these people. So I think that's, I hate to use the word brave, but it's awfully courageous to put that out there with very little description and allow the person reading or absorbing it to kind of create their own idea of what it is. Yeah. So I think you did that really well. And obviously you did it well because the rest of the staff obviously chose it as the winner this month. So continue down that road because it is rich. And a lot of times, the audience or people reading it, myself included, we're able to kind of project our own ideas onto it. Yeah. So I think you left a lot of room for collaboration and for other creative people to really help this thing pop. Yeah. I am curious, like, and you kind of answered it, like, what do you want to grab the audience with in 6 minutes? Is it just the transition to 10 years earlier? Is it just us meeting this guy and him? I think we maybe need to hone in on that just a little bit. Again, I know you don't want to tell the whole story, but I do want to know why we're interested. Yeah. I do want to know why this guy is important or why even these girls are important. And again, you left a lot of room for interpretation and for, actors to fill those story points for you. But I do fear that if you're in England and we're making this proof of concept, we're shooting it, I don't want to direct somebody down the wrong road. And it's like, well, no, that's not the story we're telling. I do want to hone in on the actual story that you want to tell.
I feel like as well, when I sort of wrote it, in my head, I was sort of anticipating that a lot of the questions that you sort of asked there would be answered in how it was then put across on the screen. But I think obviously it probably needs to be a little bit more concise in one or two areas of the script itself so that it sort of directs people in a direction of, okay, this is sort of where he wants to go. Yeah. Let's build on these visuals and that sort of setting and that vibe. Yeah. So maybe it was a little bit naive of me to sort of just go, we'll wait till it sort of down that road and we'll do it there.
But it should feel good because the all these people that read it, obviously voted for this one to be the top script this month. So job well done, dude.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anything else?
Not off the top of my head, no. But just thank you for your time.
All right, man, it's my pleasure. It is eerie here. Have you ever been to LA?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Have you ever been to Paramount?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah,
it's
just like there's just usually this just full of people walking around everywhere, but there's nobody here. There's every once in a while somebody will pop up, but yeah, man, I don't want to waste your time. Congratulations, and I look forward to seeing more of your work and keep doing it because you're really good at it.
Thank you very much, David.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hey, you too.
All right, cool. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, awesome.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.